Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. Today let's look at the most used skill moves in FIFA 23. The first is the reverse Elastico. This is the best skill move in the game from the past series. Reverse Elastico is a 5-star skill move and is so flashy, meaning the skill move is so fast. Pros love using this skill move a lot, especially in the box. So how do we perform it? It's so easy, you just roll the right analog, from the left foot of the player, through to his back, to his right foot. Why do a lot of pros love this skill move? It's so fast, effective and easy to perform, and I always perform this skill move most of the times when I'm in a diagonal position. So in game example, here I pass to my player inside the opponent's box. I realize I have a lot of space. I quickly position my player diagonal because it's my pattern when sometimes I have space, and I'm cutting back from the wing, and I expect the opponent to approach my player aggressively, so I position my player in the position I wanted because of the space I have. I know he will approach me like this because he wanna block the shooting angle. I perform the reverse Elastico, beating his defender and get the open angle to score. FIFA 23 has many effective skill moves, but this is extraordinary. But the more effective it is, the harder to perform it. But don't worry, I show you how to perform it easily and the best tips to learn in. The skill is known as the Mcgeady cancel. Some players knows about it, but few only can perform it in the game consistently. So performing this skill move, first you need to know how to perform the Mcgeady spin, the original variation. A lot of players knows how to perform, and if you don't know, just pay attention. Performing the Mcgeady spin, you need a 5-star skiller, in the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe, and many others. Then performing the skill, you flick the right stick analog in front of the player, then you flick it to either left or right, any direction you wish your player to go. So that's the Mcgeady spin. Then cancel. First of all, if you want to cancel any command on the game, immediately press both the L2 plus or 2 on PlayStation, or LT plus or T on Xbox. This is where this skill move is the most difficult part. When you flick the right stick analog in front of your player, then the moment you flick it to the side of the player, when your player start the animation of the Mcgeady spin, here you immediately cancel the skill, and flick the left analog to direct your player where you want him to exit to. This is one of the hardest skill move to perform on the game. It needs fast fingers, so to develop fast fingers you need to practice this skill by first of all slowing down. Don't rush, spend your time in the skill games. It will take you time to master it, but it's worth your time. This skill is hard to defend. We have two variations of the cancels. One is in the opposite direction. When you cancel the skill, you point the left analog in the opposite direction of the player. This is the most common one among beginners who are just learning the skill. Then the second is the sideways. This is the most overpowered, and I always use this to break the opponents. The good thing about this skill move, one, it's had that speed boost exit animation. After your player performing it will run away as if he's on a motorcycle. Then 2, it's hard to anticipate. Your opponent can't read the skill animation. It's just a surprise to him and he has nothing to do about it. As always, I give you in-game examples. Here I pass to my player Coman inside the box in a crucial position to score a goal. My opponent gave me the exact space I needed to shoot and score, but shooting to these angles in this position, I don't think the ball will hit the net. We always use the skills to burst into the space, so this space, I performed the skill and the animation was super fast, and also I was surprised. But anyway, I scored. So that's it guys, go and abuse this skill and break defenses. Stepovers in FIFA 23 are very overpowered, and if you don't abuse this skill move, I wonder what have you been doing. FIFA is a game where everyone tries his best to beat the opponent's defenders and score. Stepovers are best in this job, and later I will show you the perfect moment or scenario or spot, whatever it is, where the stepovers are most effective. So how do we perform the stepovers? This is the one of the simplest skill move to perform on the game. We have two variations of these overpowered stepovers. 1, the 90 degrees stepovers. First of all, making your player to start the stepovers animation, you have to roll the right stick analog in front of that player you're controlling. As simple as that. You roll it in front to whatever direction that player is facing. Then performing the 90 degrees, you point the left analog to the 90 degrees, and the player perform the stepovers and exit to the 90 degrees. Then we have the 45 degrees. Here, after rolling the right analog in front of the player, you point the left stick analog towards 45 degrees, or even 60 degrees can be better. But when you look at both variations, what do you think is the best, the 90 degrees or the 45 degrees? When you look at both exit animations, you will realize that the 45 degrees the player exit with a speed boost. FIFA, we need a skill move that increases the speed of the game, so the 45 degrees is the best variation. So in game examples how I perform this skill move, here I pass to my player Federico Chiesa. As you see him facing this direction, I expect my opponent to approach my player, and this will create space for me to burst into. So I roll the right analog in front of Chiesa, after I point the left analog 45 degrees. I'm not good in knowing angles, but I think it's 45 or 60. As you see my player exit with a lot of speed boost, I didn't even touch the speed button, but he exited with a lot of speed and I scored. Last example, here I pass to my player Timo Vanna, as you see him facing this direction, so I perform the skill move by rolling the right analog in front of my player. You can roll the analog from this direction to this, or from this direction to this, any can work, so don't be confused. After that I point my left analog to 45 degrees, my player perform the skill and burst into the space. Stepovers can be used all over the pitch, in midfield and in the final third, but I personally have that perfect spot where I use it and score a lot of goals. This skill move is very effective, especially around or inside the box. At this sport, every time I pass to my player around this area, I first take a touch. This touch I bait my opponent into rushing to approach my player, so then I perform stepovers, burst into the space and score. In FIFA, the best way to dribble is to find space and dribble into it. Skill moves do it faster than the left analog dribble, but finding the best skill move for certain situation is a little bit challenging. But you can practice these skill moves and they become second nature. Then try them in the game, you will find the perfect spot to that particular skill move by yourself. But remember, everything needs practice. Good players spend their time in the skill games practicing these skill moves until they feel comfortable using them. We all know that normal and motion elastico variation where you perform the skill move moving with the ball, but this is not as effective as the standstill variation. The standstill variation is very overpowered because of its exit speed boost. So how do we perform the skill move? If you don't know how to perform the normal elastico, here you roll the right analog from the right side foot of the player, through his back, then to his left side foot, as you see here on the controller here, roll, performing half circle. Just imagine like your player is surrounded by a circle. So you roll the analog through that pattern but performing half of the circle. Hope we are together. Then the standstill variation, we shall either use the fake shot stop. Here to perform it you press O and immediately tap X. When performing it don't touch of the left analog, just perform the controls and the player will perform the skill move and he will face the opponent's goal. So if that's much for you, then we have another way to stop the ball. The use of L1. When dribbling, you release everything and tap L1, your player will stop the ball and face the opponent's goal. So we shall even see which stop variation is more effective. So after learning how to stop the ball, then you combine these two into your arsenal and apply them in the match. Here I'm dribbling with Sancho, I perform the fake stop into elastico variation, beat the opponent and score. Then here again with Sancho, I perform the L1 stop into elastico variation, so you spot that speed boost in his exit. We cannot talk about the most used skills and leave out the ball roll. It's used 60% times in the game. The skill is simple to perform and very useful in a lot of scenarios. To perform the ball roll, it's like breathing in oxygen. You just hold the right stick analog 90 degrees from where the player is facing. Simple as that. In every angle, you roll, then you push left analog and move, or you can hold it as much as you can. Your player will perform multiple rolls. Ball roll can be used to open up passing lane. A lot of pro players use it sometimes when the opponent is tracking the runner, so they perform a small ball roll and pass. And also it can be used to change direction when sprinting. You ball roll and push the left stick analog, sprint and burst into the space, and we tend to use it in changing direction when we have some space in front. Here you can avoid the opponent's tackle. So that's it guys, you don't need to master all skills in the game, just get like 5. That's enough for you to break down the opponent. FIFA mostly, it's about passing 60%.